Hi everyone, it's KK Diaz, and today I'm sitting with Rod Jones, who is a contact center guru. He's also a thought leader, a blogger, as well as an analyst in customer service, specifically in contact centers. Rod, how are you doing?
Excellent, good to be here, KK. Thank you for the time.
No, thank you for making the time. Can I ask you to briefly give us an introduction of who you are and what you do?
I think it goes back almost 40 years that I've been in the customer service contact center. In early days we used to call them call centers, and it's 20 years specifically focusing on the new technologies and application of technologies in customer service.
Fantastic. And well, we're here today because we are primarily talking about your involvement at the Customer Experience World 2018 here in Johannesburg as well as in Cape Town. Can you tell us what your involvement entails?
Yes, indeed, and in fact it's quite an exciting turning point for me because I've been part of that journey from the early days of customer service, CRM, customer relationship management, into the new world of CX and customer journeys. And my role with the event organizers has been to select and to make recommendations on various speakers and consulting in putting the program together, the running order on the program, just to make sure that executives attending this conference come away with some rich insights and knowledge into how to do the customer experience strategy and how to roll it out into the organizations.
All right, Rod, you've been involved with Customer Experience World previously. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience then?
Yes, I think to fully understand where we are now with customer experience and customer journey and customer satisfaction, we've got to go way back to the 70s and 80s to the advent of CRM, customer relationship management, which tended to be the corporate view of managing customers. I liken it sometimes to herding customers, dictating exactly how customers should behave. And if we take that as an evolution up until 10 years ago, we started seeing the first vestiges of customer experience and really looking at it from a different point of view, from a customer view inwards to the organization. But it's only now that organizations, particularly at the corporate level, have become more mature in understanding that they need to deliver not only the products and services that the consumer or the customer wants and demands, but in the manner, in the channel, in the time frames, that those expectations are clearly enunciated. And that to me is really what the customer experience and customer journey is about, is to get the deeper insights into customer wants, needs and desires. So
at Customer Experience World 2018, the theme is customer success. How do we define customer success and how does it differ to customer relationship management and customer experience?
Okay, interesting question, because I think that once again, if we go back into the past, it was very much a one-way communication between the organization and its customers. Today, the tables have been turned completely, and it's a conversation now between the customer and the organization. A conversation by its very nature dictates that it's a bi-directional, bilateral understanding of building greater value for each. And I think that's the fundamental shift that has taken place in the last decade or so.
Can you tell us about the value and the success of a customer in terms of a concept that we would implement as a business?
I think we need to also be very careful that we don't bias our thinking the other way, as we did in the 70s, where it was biased to a monologue between the organization and the customer. We have to be very careful that we maintain this rewarding conversation with customers. It's got to reward the organization from a revenue, lifetime value, brand awareness, market share perspectives, all of those drivers. But from the customer's point of view, it's got to be rewarding for them in terms of their relationship with the organization. And so I think there's the difference between where we were 20 years ago to this much deeper understanding of the customer on the one hand, and the customer participating in the building of the brands, the products and the services of the organization. It's a very different approach.
Now, when it comes to your expertise and pretty much where you've spent a great majority of your career and your profession is with regards to contact centers. Now, what kind of role do contact centers play, and how do they impact, the areas of customer success and customer experience when it comes to how business can actually use those segments?
Right. I think one looks at the call center had its origins in around about 1972, 1973. And if we look at the evolution during that time, where call center was predominantly, in fact exclusively, telephone calls. The world that we live in today, customers, consumers, human beings, need multiple channels to communicate effectively, to have those rewarding conversations. And just like developing an intimate relationship, those channels need to move with time. So in the morning it may be a telephone call, but then there's a text message, and then there's an email, and then there's a video chat. And so the modern customer interaction center has to be geared to be able to handle all of these interactions simultaneously, to develop this depth of understanding between the organization and fulfilling the service expectations of customers. So I think the big trend we're seeing now as we move into 2018 and beyond is this omni-channel contact center. A very significant change from where we were in the 80s and 90s.
Fantastic. So in my experience, I do business coaching, and I consult with some businesses, and we've helped some companies implement customer relationship management applications. What I do find, though, in my experience, is a lot of companies still have not accepted or don't necessarily appreciate the idea of improving their customer relationship management. Implementing new policies or procedures that help to improve customer success, and they tend to see this concept as more of a cost center than as a tactic that they could possibly use, to beat their competition in the market, or to increase their revenue, to improve customer retention. What has been your experience, and how would you help businesses to change how they see, how they view this concept from a cost center perspective, more so to a strategic tactic that they could possibly use in growing their businesses?
Indeed, I think if we take a look at the industry globally, for 40 years now, the contact center or call center has been a reluctantly funded annual budget. It's an overhead. It's something really not adding value to the organization. The fault lies in many cases with contact center management. It hasn't been very successful. The managers haven't been successful in projecting the value that they bring to the organization. Put that into context. How do you measure the value of loyalty? How do you measure the value of a retained customer? We have to look at building models that take us far into the future, into the lifetime value of that customer, the increase in the spend and the depth of spend as we develop that relationship. And so there's a lot more work needed, and this is where one of the big trends is the analytics coming in, where we can look at customers from an analytical point of view and see the value that they bring to the organization. So we need to be able to look at the contact center as an investment, delivering a solid, measurable return to the organization in terms of brand equity, market share, pure revenues. In other words, that much maligned lifetime value of customers.
So Rod, tell us, will you be hosting a masterclass at the 2018 Customer Experience World?
Yes, indeed. The first session that we'll be running on the day one, we'll be looking at the global trends in customer experience, looking at the major markets, North America, South America, in fact, is growing rapidly, Europe, Australia, and the context of South Africa. What are those global trends, and what are the regional impacts of that? That we will take into the second session, where we'll be looking at the big question, we call it the digital migration. How do we actually integrate all of these new channels into an integrated customer experience contact center? And the third session, which is on the last day, I'm very excited about it, is it's actually an experiment, and to show delegates how quick and easy it is to actually configure a full function omni-channel contact center in less than 2 hours. And it'll be very hands-on with laptops, running through some software and exactly how we would set up an omni-channel contact center. Very practical, very hands-on, a lot of good takeaways from that.
Wow, I'm literally drooling just thinking about how wonderful it's going to be at the event. I'm seriously looking forward to attending your masterclass. Now, for those who are still deciding, who are still on the fence and have not yet committed to coming to Customer Experience World 2018, both in Johannesburg and or in Cape Town, what would you say to those people?
I see 2018, 2019 as a massive watershed in terms of corporate existence. Those organizations that grasp customer experience, customer journey, and really optimize it and invest in the changes in technology, in the skill sets within the organization, they will succeed. Those organizations that are left behind on the customer experience journey are in dire straits as far as continuity of business. Customers are going to go where it's fast, easy, quick, effortless to do business. And if the organization isn't geared for that, I'm afraid those customers are going to walk.
Well, folks, that was Rod Jones. You heard it for yourself. If you haven't committed to coming to Customer Experience World in 2018, Johannesburg and in Cape Town, you definitely are going to miss out. I can't wait, as I'm looking forward to definitely using what I'm going to learn from people like Rod Jones to actually learn how to beat my competition. And you can get to do the same if you attend in Johannesburg and in Cape Town, and we really hope to see you there. I can't wait. Rod, thanks again for attending, for the interview and for the wisdom that you shared with us.
Well, it's been a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you, KK.
Cheers.